there will be days where the intensity is too much, but then there will be days where I just go and do it for the pure joy of running. Every morning we used to wake up and there would be some sort of sport. Every sport in school we were encouraged to go and participate. So sport has been a very key part of my life. I have zero regrets in life because whatever I have done, wherever I have been, whatever mistakes I have made, they have made me who I am today. So none of it came naturally, and I work hard at it every day, even today. If today I'm number one in India, how do I go to a point where I go overseas? And remember, I am an army kid. I'm extremely patriotic. I love my country. Bruce Lee, who said that I'm not afraid of one person who knows 10,000 kicks, but I'm afraid of one person, of the person who does one kick 10,000 times.
Today I'm bringing you the incredible TimTim Sharma, from horse riding to triathlon and from mountaineering to yoga. Trying is a skill and she's nailed it. Let's find out how. Thank you, Ms. Sharma, for coming to our show. Very good to have you here.
It's great being here. Thanks for having me.
You did finance, you did fitness, you did running, you also did cycling, swimming. And for those who are not familiar with your story, I wonder if you could share a little bit about your background and how you got there.
Oh, it's a long story because obviously I'm 41 years old. I started off, I'm an army kid. So obviously sport has been important ever since I remember. So even when we were little kids, we were thrown into the water and just splash around, right? So I think a lot of it comes from the upbringing. There's been discipline. So every morning we used to wake up and there would be some sort of sport. Every sport in school, we were encouraged to go and participate. So sport has been a very key part of my life ever since I was little. And I can't imagine, like for me, it is weird if someone doesn't have activity in their day, right? That is the normal for me. Now, in terms of all the different sports, so I tried equestrian. I've always been passionate about it, right? It makes me happy. Like, I know that there are some people, they can sit in front of a canvas and they can be lost for hours, right? And that drives them. For me, it's been sport. Whether it was equestrian, whether it is cycling, whether it is fitness, whatever it is meditation for me, right? And that is why there has been so many different things that I have tried. And of course, society says that you need to have, you need to have a degree, you need to have a job. And that's the reason why my degree and my job initially was in the corporate or was like the finance degree, which is expected. At that time, I wanted to study bachelor's in horse business management because that was my passion of the moment. And yeah, so that's how it is. Like for me, it's been that rules are not necessary to be followed. Discipline is, passion is, and at every point in time, even though life has said or society has said that this doesn't make sense, if I felt right, I followed that passion. And that's all that there is to it.
I love maths and I want to do finance, economics and chartered accountancy. And I read that you went to study in New Zealand.
Yes.
Would you recommend any good colleges in New Zealand?
So, okay, I personally think that if you're passionate about something and you're looking forward to gaining knowledge, today the way that you have access to information, any university can be a good university. You can be sitting at home, you can do a UGC program and you can get the education. But yes, if you're telling me that, okay, in New Zealand per se, there are fantastic universities. The one that I went to was the Waikato Management School or the University of Waikato. And then there's, of course, Auckland University. Then there is Christchurch University. And then, of course, Queenstown. They have one of the best vet universities as well because obviously I was into horses, so I had to find out about that too. So they have that as well in Palmerston North. And yeah, I mean, there's education is available everywhere. You need to be the sponge that wants to absorb that education and knowledge. And the sky's the limit.
And how come you shifted from a finance career to a fitness management? Like everyone, fitness coach.
Fitness, well, finance was really very boring for me, so, and it was easy. It wasn't hard. And that's the thing, right? Like, I believe a person works in the same way in every sphere of their being. So, so if you are good at, say, talking to people and communicating and sales, you will be, if you're outgoing, you will be similar in your personal relationships, you will be similar in your work relationships and every aspect, because that is the basic nature of a human being. And for me, I like being into or understanding what I am doing, any sort of project that I do. So when I was doing finance, I didn't necessarily enjoy it, but I was fairly good at it. However, it was not giving me that spark or that happiness, the happiness and the sense of contentment and satisfaction to go and do the same thing over and over again. Because over a period of time, and even in my role, I used to do a lot of, I started off as a recovery agent and then I moved into the leadership management program and all of that. But towards the later part of my career, my corporate career, I was doing a lot of projects, which was like, there's chaos, bring her in, she will create a good process or a structure. And then when it came time to just managing that process, it became boring for me because it was maintenance. So I like the sense of challenge. And in my role, eventually, wherever I went, it became more about maintaining the status quo. And that was boring for me. Explaining the same thing in terms of whether it is discrepancies in the numbers, why is it happening, the variances in revenue. All of that was, eventually it was like I could see the numbers. I could tell the story that they were trying to tell me. I could explain it to the people that wanted to hear the story. But it was the same thing over and over again. And it got boring and monotonous for me. Now, today, I can cycle for like 5 hours non-stop, but it's not boring for me. And that is probably, being in the state of flow, as they say, like finding your passion and really enjoying it. This is what makes me happy. And that's why there has been a switch from the corporate career to the fitness career.
But did you ever regret this decision?
Never. I have zero regrets in life because whatever I have done, wherever I have been, whatever mistakes I have made, they have made me who I am today. And I love the person that I am today. And making mistakes is a very, very crucial part of growing up, crucial part of personality development, and learning from those mistakes, being accountable, being responsible, and understanding that every decision that you take has consequences and being accountable for it. That is very important. And zero regrets, man.
So, out of running, mountaineering, cycling, triathlon, swimming, yoga, what comes most naturally to you?
None of it. I've had to work very hard for all of it to make it look easy and to make it look natural. I've had to work really, really hard. None of it comes naturally to me. But my first sport of choice was running. And the reason that it was my sport of choice was that I would go every weekend and I would win an event. Because somewhere genetics also plays a part, right? I was naturally slightly faster in the longer distance. And I used to get a paycheck. I used to get like a prize money. So I used to get a check. I used to come home and I used to take all my friends out. And that's how running became natural to me. They were like, oh yeah, she's going to go every weekend and she's going to come back and we're all going to go out. That's how it happened. And then of course, over a period of time, I started enjoying it. It was not intentional. I'm going to do a marathon. It started incidentally and then it took a life of its own. And this is probably something that everyone needs to understand, that to be good at something, you have to work hard. There is no shortcut to success. So you have to go, experience, experiment, find, until you know what's out there, you will never know what you like. Right? It's easy to sit on a couch and say, this is not good, that's not good. But until you go and experience it, you will never understand whether you actually like it or not. So go out, choose things, experience it, and then take an informed decision. This is what I want to really pursue. And then work really, really hard at it for a really, really long time and expect no results. There is no shortcut. That's it. So none of it came naturally. And I work hard at it every day, even today.
I like cricket and the sound of the ball hitting my bat is very calming. What is the most therapeutic thing to you?
I have so many really, everything I do is therapeutic for me, okay? So whether it is lifting really heavy weights in the gym, Okay. Whether it is, just 1 foot in front of the other. Like there will be days where the intensity is too much, but then there will be days where I just go and do it for the pure joy of running, or it's one pedal stroke after the other. Swimming, I'm not there yet, but I'm making an effort. So once it becomes so natural to you, right? Then it just like when you do it long enough, and this is what is it Bruce Lee who said that I'm not afraid of one person who knows 10,000 kicks, but I'm afraid of one person of the person who does one kick 10,000 times. It becomes therapy after a point in time. It becomes natural. Like tomorrow, if you kick me out of bed in the middle of the night and say, go run at 21 kilometers, I won't even bat an eyelid. I'll be like, okay, let's go. No problem.
When I was reading you up, I learned that you are a 5-time Boston qualified marathoner, an AMC qualified mountaineer, a Brooks Indian athlete. What are these competition formats?
Okay, so the first one was Boston qualified. So there are world majors in the marathon. Now, for those of you who don't know, a marathon is a 42.2 kilometer run, right? A half marathon is 21.1. 10K to 10 kilometer and 5K. And since I'm in a place or I'm in a space where I can educate the young people, a 5 kilometer is a run. It is not a 5K marathon. A marathon is only 42.2K, and that's that, right? Now, over a period of time, the marathon distance. Do you guys want to know? Do you want to know how the marathon originated?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So the marathon, so there was a war, right? And the Greeks won. And they were like, oh, we need to. So they were obviously, the place that they were having the war was about 42.2 kilometers away from the home city. So they're like, we have to inform. And so one guy was like, okay, I will run and I will go and inform everyone over there. And that we have won. So it was from Marathon was the place where it was happening, to Athens. So he went running. And he reached there and he informed everyone, we won. And then he fell and he died. And now we celebrate it by running the marathon. Okay, which is funny in itself, but that is how the marathon distance sport originated. Okay, now in marathon, so now there's marathons happening everywhere. 42.2, so there's a Bangalore marathon, there's a Mumbai marathon. These are the big ones. New Delhi marathon in India. Similarly, there are certain marathons which are you have to qualify for them. Like you have certain time targets that you need to hit to even qualify for it, and they are tough time targets to hit. Boston is one of them. So there's 6 world majors, which has now become 7, which are the major marathons in the world. Boston is one of them, and it's one of New York is the hardest, and then Boston comes a close second in qualifying. So 5-time Boston qualified means that I have run the marathon distance. Well, totally I've run the marathon distance 7 times, out of which 5 times I have qualified for the Boston marathon. I'm not chosen to go and run it because then I got distracted and then I got into triathlons and then it was not on my bucket list to do anymore. But that is your Boston qualification as a marathoner. The next one you were AMC. AMC it's the short form for Advanced Mountaineering Course. So now when you want to go climb a mountain, and we are blessed enough to live in the country which has the world's youngest and loftiest mountains. Have you been to the Himalayas?
No.
You have to go. It is humbling to another level. Like you feel like this, like an ant over there. Nature is so beautiful. It is so large. It's so vast and it's so humbling. And over there, nothing can help you. Only you can help yourself. You have to carry your baggage. You have to cook your food. You have to carry yourself on the mountain, right? It's just you being stripped raw, like stripped bare naked, not literally, but in terms of you and nature. There's nothing that can help you over there. There are certain places even choppers cannot land because the wind is so it's so turbulent. Choppers also can't land there. So anyway, so when you want to go and climb a mountain, it's called an expedition. And sometimes, so that also is alpine style, or you have a regular expedition where there's like 20 people, and then you have donkeys or horses or ponies that help you, and there are porters who help you. Alpine is when you carry your own stuff, and then it's just you and nature, right? And it's usually 2 or 3 people. That's a lot faster, because the leaner you are, the faster you can be, depending on your skills. And then you have the porter wala. It's like you're taking a whole village with you and you're moving, so it's like a little bit slower. You move at a glacial pace. So to do any of the expeditions, you need to have a basic mountaineering certification. That is called the BMC. When you really enjoy it, because like I told you, my character, I like something, I will go and I will do everything. So I went and did the BMC. I did one expedition. I really enjoyed it. And I was like, yaar, I have to understand this better. I want to be more badass. And I want to wear have cool gear. And I want to climb. And I want to do like ice axe stuff. Right? It's very cool. So I went and did. So to be able to plan expeditions, to be able to do alpine style expeditions where you can go out yourself, or you can take people with you, planning everything, you need to do an advanced mountaineering course, and that's the AMC qualification. So Brooks is a brand, which is a running specific brand. They focus on purely running mechanics, and they had like a whole range of product, but then they said, okay, you know what, we want to focus only on running and bring in the best performance that equipment can help a runner. And they have a bunch. They have I think this year they have about 6 athletes across India, and that they have chosen, and they support the athlete. So I'm one of those 6. I'm lucky enough, and I've been with them for the last 3 years or 4 years from the inception. And that team is just so lovely, because that is a team that celebrates each other. Like, we all celebrate each other's wins. There is no jealousy. There is no oh, how can he be better than me? It's like, wow, how can I help you be better, right? And it's a very beautiful environment, non-toxic, to be very honest, because in a competitive environment, usually it becomes very toxic. So this particular ecosystem also encourages, and this is what I'm sharing with you, because you as the next generation, right? You need to encourage the people that are around you. You need to help, magnify their strengths, reduce their weaknesses. That's how teams work. To be a team, you work on each other's strengths. You don't try to pull the other person down. You always celebrate them and exhort them, and take that away from me today if you can. If there's one thing you take away from me, do that. And that's what Brooks, to a certain extent, has taught me.
I also read after winning the Open Women Olympic Distance Triathlon, you were forced to understand the biomechanics of the human body. What is the meaning of biomechanic, and how can you explain this in simple terms too?
Bio is what? Biology. That means the human body. Mechanics is what? Movement. So the best way, or the way to make your body move most efficiently, would be the simplest way to understand. So what is your form when it comes to whether it is running, any of the sport, because each of these sports is extremely technical. A triathlon is what? It is 3 sports. 3. First is swim. Usually this is how it goes. There'll be a swim, then there'll be a bike ride, and then there'll be a run. So each of these is technical, and to improve, right? Now eventually, there's something which is endurance, which is like, chale ja rahe hain, kare ja rahe hain, khatam hi nahi ho raha hai, right? Like, you are just lage hue, like a donkey. Like, keep going. And that is great to build stamina. But for how long will you do it? After that, you need a different challenge, right? So for me, what was the challenge? Performance. If you have consistently been coming number 1 somewhere, what do? You look for something, or you create another challenge for your own self. So then it could be a time target. For me, it could be a time target. It could be a time target in each of the specific sport and overall sport. It could be there is, in triathlon itself, there is a sprint distance, there is an Olympic distance, there is a 70.3 distance, there's the Ironman distance. It goes on and on and on, right? So my distance of choice is 70.3 because it's a sweet distance for me. And then the idea is, how do I get better? How do I get faster? If today I'm number 1 in India, how do I go to a point where I go overseas? And remember, I am an army kid. I'm extremely patriotic. I love my country. Even when I was overseas, I was like, man, I want to go home, because how many people do you know who like to leave like a country overseas and come back home? I'm one of them. Like, that's how much I love my country. So the next target is, how do I improve so that when I go somewhere overseas, I can, with a lot of pride, take my country's flag and just stand there, like, make India proud. It's a different level of satisfaction and contentment when someone says, yeah, that girl's from India, man. They have a strong athlete there. Their triathlon is really strong. So I like that. And for me, that is the next goal, right? So what was the question again? Biomechanics. So the idea of biomechanics is understand how the body moves really, really well. How to make it move better. How to make it move faster. How to become like more of a shark in the water. How to become like a torpedo when it comes to the water. How to become... So I work with the best people. You've heard of Nisha Millet. I work with Nisha Millet. When it comes to cycling, and for me, it's very important, and this is something that you have to understand. Another thing that you can take away, I guess, is that learning never ends. No matter where you are, there's always... Everybody has a daddy. There's someone stronger than you, knows more than you. And if you are open, and this comes to your education as well, if you are open to it, you can learn something from anybody and everyone that you interact with. So biomechanics. I want to become more efficient. That's the answer.
I love cycling, but it's just casual at homes or in parks.
Yeah.
Does cycling help to increase the height of a person or a child?
No. Sadly, no. Cycling doesn't help, but can you hang? Maybe, but even hanging doesn't help, because that will just lengthen your vertebrae. No. Genetics, bro, sorry. Or you can go and you can do those knee breaking operations. Like, there's certain things that you can't, like, sport. Maybe basketball helps because there's a lot of jumping there. So that would help you. But cycling, no. Sorry. And no. No.
I remember a year ago or so back when my mother was trying to buy me a cycle from this Firefox brand. It was very confusing to decide on which one. There were options like hybrid, gravel, road, and geared bikes. Then further options like 6 or 14 or 21 speed gears, alloy or steel brakes, suspension fork, wider arm, training wheels, etc. Can you explain what these terms mean and which one should I pick?
Let's get a cup of coffee, settle down, and get ready for the ride. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, let me try and keep this really short. So yes, there is different formats of cycling. So you have the first one that you said was hybrid. Hybrid, as it says, it's hybrid. Like, it's for everything. So it's usually for commute. Commute is what? Doing local stuff, like mom says, hey, go get me some milk. Of course, you're going to be like, get it yourself or Zepto it. But no. When we were kids, the whole idea was, okay, we have to go out and get the milk. And if you don't go, if you have a cycle, that's like a bonus. So that is commuting. Or even, like, say, going to school or going to office, going to college, right? That is commute. So doing stuff locally and still being relatively okay. Because when you go locally, there will be certain places where there are big potholes. There'll be certain places where there are very smooth roads. So a hybrid bike, or there'll be certain places, especially in India, where you have to get on the pavement and ride, because I've done that. So that is hybrid. Hybrid is like a good thing that goes into every different kind of surface. Okay. Then you said MTB. MTB, as it states, if the full form of MTB is mountain trail biking. So what does that mean? Mountain, and you have like technical trails. So you know those guys who do like, you've seen Red Bull Rampage?
Yeah.
That's MTB. That's like badass MTB. That's like next level MTB. Like taking like 50 feet jumps and drops. That's MTB. So that's what MTB is for. Then you said gravel. Gravel is like cyclocross. So pretty much Bangalore after rains. That's gravel. Like if it's not a paved road, there's a little bit of muck on the road. There's loose rocks, loose small stones on the road, but it's not that technical where you're doing drops or you're doing jumps. That's gravel. Then of course there's the road bike, which is my favorite. Road bike it's just built for speed. On the road, flat roads, they should be like butter. It will go fast, right? And then there's time trial bikes. Time trial bikes is about being more aerodynamic. So again, it's about speed. So in that time trial bike, you'll have two aero bars like this, and you sit like this and make yourself really small so that you go really, really fast. Then you said to me 614. So 614, those are the gears that you have, the number of gears. So the number of gears that you have, it just makes it easier for you to scale inclines, declines. Similarly, you have single gear, you have no gear, fixed. Okay, and then you have steel. Steel is so you can have a steel bike, you can have alloy is aluminium or a mixed alloy bike. A steel bike will be heavy and it is good for doing a lot of touring. So if you want to just like pack your bags and like with a tent, you can just go into the countryside, pitch a tent, sit. That's great for that. Aluminium bikes are relatively more sturdy, but they're a little heavier. So they'll be faster than like your commute bikes, like your hybrids, usually road bikes. And then you have the carbon bikes. Carbon bikes are like super expensive, but they are light, they are fast. And then of course you have disc brakes. You had said rim brakes, disc brakes. Rim brakes are where the brakes touch the rim. And then you have disc brakes, which is also like your vehicles, your motorized vehicles, where you have just a ABS locking system. So it's a lot more efficient. Rim brakes are like slower, so they touch the rim slowly. And of course there's like a lot more friction which is involved. So cycling is a very technical sport and we can speak for hours and hours and hours about it. But I think this has given you a brief idea. Yes?
Yeah.
Little bit boring?
Yeah. No.
Okay, good.
I went to Amsterdam a few years back and I saw that people ride their bicycles to college, to office, to school. Do you think that will ever happen in Indian cities, or is there just too much of traffic?
I'd like to think that there is a good possibility, and it is true. Like it is embedded in the European culture. Like even across the world, the strongest cyclists are European. Why? Because from when they're kids, they're on the cycle. It's like very natural for them, and that's a similar mentality that we need to bring in. That we get our kids on the bike. We tell them go explore, and there is. I don't know if you know this, but there is a bicycle mayor in Bangalore. They are trying to create cycling lanes. Of course, the traffic and the people, they're not very tolerant of the fact that, cyclists have to share the road, which is simply because of the population. But I think change, it takes 3 to 4 generations. So with enough time, given enough awareness of the importance of health, which is what is coming to the fore now, I think it is a very, very possible, it's a very possible scenario that there will be dedicated bicycling lanes in major cities in India, even in smaller cities in India actually. And people are going to be riding and running and walking. I think we can already see the change in the last, say, 15 years. There has been a massive change in the mindset of the people. And it's only going to grow with people like you.
You've had to reinvent yourself several times over, including all the injuries. What motivates you to keep going despite all the adversities?
I don't think I give myself any other option. Like, what is the option? To sit and wallow? No. Like, you've got this much of time on earth, right? You have one life. But if you live it right, one life is enough. You don't need to come back. Like the Hindu philosophy is like, oh, reincarnation, this and that. So go out, explore all the things that you want to explore. We were meant to do that. We were not meant to sit on a couch and live our lives in front of a screen. We are meant to get out and explore and experience and just have a lot of fun and be different versions of ourselves.
Do you have a power song that pumps you up before a race?
Not necessarily, no. Like for me, it's more about calming myself down before a race. It's not about pumping myself up. Because when I get onto the racetrack, I will get pumped. That's not a problem. It's about, because your race happens more in your head than physically. Physically, you're anyway prepared. It's the mental aspect. So if you are calm, you are able to slow things down even though everything is happening at a very rapid pace. And you're able to observe. And it's that power of observation which helps you in a race. So it's about, for me, it's about calming myself down. For each athlete to their own. This is just my. So it's more about deep breathing, focusing, visualizing. That's what I work on.
Have you ever gotten lost or had a close call during a racetrack?
All the time. All the time. I've lost the number of times that I've gotten lost. I've lost count of it. The most recent was I went for a stage race and I got dropped from the peloton. And then I found a friend and I was like, why should I suffer alone? I will suffer with her. And then we started talking and we were both having fun and we were like riding. And we missed the right turn. And we did an extra 25 kilometers. And eventually, it was like not, and this is like, I didn't even have my phone on me. So eventually what we did was like, we looked at the directions, old school way, right? We weren't looking at Google Maps. We were talking to people. We're like, where's this place? Where's this place? They showed us directions. We looked at the regular direction and we reached home. It's an experience. It's always an experience. And you learn something new about yourself.
What's the strangest animal or thing you ever come across while riding or cycling outdoors?
Dogs we see all the time, but that's not strange. They've now become our friends. So we've ridden through Bandipur. So we've seen elephants and a lot of wild animals, man. Like because it's the forest, right? So as long as you don't trouble the monkeys, I see them all the time. And if you happen to have a banana in your jersey, they're like trying to come at you, which is like a crazy story. Yeah, I think deer a couple of times. Like that's actually on STRR, which is within the limits of Bangalore city. But no. Other than this, like just elephants, this, that. I've not done a lot of touring. I've done more of like racing, and again, like most of the breves or the long rides that we've done on roads which are like lit, right? And for that, they're usually in the midst of heavy traffic and animals don't really come close there. Snakes, I've seen snakes across the road.
So you do yoga, and yoga requires a lot of flexibility. So while eating or while like working, do you sit on the floor or you are like used to the Western practice of sitting on the chair and working and eating?
First thing, yoga does not require flexibility. Yoga is a way of life. And asanas is just one part of yoga, right? Which is the physical aspect. And yoga is all about controlling the mind. So the whole aspect of asana practice in yoga is that if you can't control your physical body, how will you ever control your mind? Now coming back to my personal practices, I'm okay with anything. Like I prefer being grounded, so I prefer sitting on the ground. I prefer walking barefoot. Those are my personal preferences. But I can't come here and say that, I want to sit on the ground only, right? So I'm not that flexibility. Well, flexibility, you said, there's flexibility in this. So personal preference, yes, sit. Because even there's a lot of science which is involved in yoga, right? So when you sit and you eat food, you are also more aware of how satisfied you are or how much food is enough food. Versus if you're standing or seated like this. So there are reasons why yoga has the practices that it has. It's found in a lot of science. So for me, no, I'm flexible, but my preference is always being close to the earth.
What is the one thing you do every single day, no matter what, to maintain good health?
Get some sort of activity in. I think that is number one. Yeah, you said one thing. So yeah, get some activity in. That would be it.
Thank you for coming to our show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. What a powerhouse. I love her energy, grit, and how she gave up her finance career to follow her fitness dream. Nothing came easy. She worked for every win. What stuck with you? Hope it fired you like it did me.